Okay, I see why people were calling him out to be an Activision still. Bumbleclad. Studs and chats, we need to do this emergency meeting immediately because apparently there is a lot of susness built up in the community. A lot of people are believing that Call of Duty is actually dead ass doing it, and we all know for the fact that there are multiple different algorithms in the game. Some believe it, some don't, but guess what? I believe it. Boy, if you don't get... We are under emo blame truth era. I guess you know this for the fact. You know this already. But Blame Truth has pointed out that there is skill-based matchmaking hit detection. There is skill-based matchmaking footstep audio. It first blew up over on Reddit, and then he made a video. That's why I found out. That's why all the other Call of Duty toxic and problematic YouTubers, toxic and problematic gamers, myself included, that's how we all found out. And we all get labeled as toxic and problematic by Activision, who likes to do money glitches in real life and whatnot. But now there is a lot of susness built up that we even have our scientist XclusiveAce. He made a video on it. I have not seen the video, but I have made the sin of reading the comments. And people are saying that he's an Activision shill, and that to me makes me believe that like XclusiveAce, are you guys kidding me? He's some of the best YouTuber out there that is making sure that he talks about both sides, but that makes me believe that he doesn't believe in this footstep skill-based matchmaking audio thing. Okay, drop a thumbs up. We're gonna check this out.
Today we're gonna be investigating a big claim that's been thrown around the community for the past several weeks in Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
And this is that there is a skill-based audio system in place that actively nerfs the amount of audio, especially footstep audio, that you're able to hear if you are a higher skilled player. Whereas for a
W if you believe there is, L if you believe there isn't. I want to know your thoughts.
lower skill player, you get louder and more clear footstep audio. Before we get into this, I do want to point out True Game Data did a great video debunking this in Warzone 2, but that was focused on Warzone 2, and I've already seen a lot of people saying, well, maybe it's only in the multiplayer, it's not in Warzone.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to focus on today. I will leave a link to True Game Data's video down below if you want to check that out.
The only thing I know for the fact is that there is an algorithm in this game. You play 5 matches and the algorithm knows if your girl is preggo or not, okay? Dead ass.
Because it is quite interesting.
Dead ass.
Now, this initially started blowing up a bunch from a particular Reddit thread where a guy posted a bunch of quote-unquote evidence of this being the case. And in this, he showed a bunch of clips with his reverse boosted account, listening for footsteps, and then he showed a bunch of clips with his non-reverse boosted account. And if you do watch all of the clips and pay close attention, it does seem like that lower skill account is hearing footsteps better than the higher skill account. However, it is worth noting his testing method was severely flawed, and it doesn't account for...
That's where it is. You're wrong because you're a man.
Tons and tons of uncontrolled variables, so you can't even directly compare these. In many situations, sure, he was on the same map and maybe in a similar area of the
XclusiveAce deadass by like, oh, you're wrong because you're just a Reddit hater.
Map, but every other variable was totally different, and that effectively invalidates this testing that he did. These aren't proper tests, these aren't controlled properly. And I'll be the first to admit, it's really difficult to test things in actual public matches because you can't control these variables. That's why most of my testing is done in custom games. However, I did develop a methodology to test this properly for proper comparisons between a high skill player and a low skill player, and I'm going to be showing that off. But before we do that, I do want to at least show the best test that he did here. Again, not perfect, doesn't account for all the variables properly, but at least he was standing in the exact same spot, and it's a somewhat...
Alright boys, goggles on, get your headsets on, get yourself lubed up. We about to see his method, and then we're gonna see XclusiveAce, and I want to know who's right and who's wrong. We're gonna find out.
Situation, although the enemy's coming from a different angle. So let's have a listen to this. I really want you to focus on the footstep audio itself. The first clip I'm going to share is with his reverse boosted account, and the second clip is with his non-reverse boosted account. Have a listen.
Oh, she. Low skilled account. You hear it. High skilled account. Okay, you hear it.
So after watching that, it definitely seems like on the reverse boosted account, those footsteps were a lot more loud and clear than the non-reverse boosted account, if you're just focusing on that footstep audio. And if that's the result you're looking for, I can see why you would think that this is confirmation of a system like this. However, I'm going to play these clips again, and this time, I want you to focus on all of the audio that isn't footstep audio, and really pay attention to the difference between the first clip and the second clip.
Hey! Low skill account. Okay, now gunshots, but explosion.
With this, you probably noticed in that first clip with the reverse boosted account, there was almost no audio going on around the map. There were no explosions, there was very little gunfire, and the gunfire there was, it seemed to be really far away, like on the other side.
Bro, all of this is happening because of, I mean, damn, why Activision, you gotta have patents? Now, the thing is that I don't blame I don't blame anybody. If you're like, hey man, this has skill-based matchmaking, Footstep audio thing, it got like multiple different algorithms, I don't blame you, because we know for the fact that they have filed patents. They have filed multiple patents. In fact, some of the patents also talk about nerfing a high skill player in real time, and it can like decrease your health, it can make changes to the recoil patterns, to your aim. There is so much bull squash in that patent. Now, it doesn't mean that they have applied those patents in game, but you have to really think about it, right? Like, why else they filed it? Why else they filed it? So there's a lot of that, and now we know they had like 3 years, 3,000 deaths. I believe there is like a lot of demonic, there's a lot of devilish stuff happening in this game, right? With skill-based matchmaking algorithms, you play 5 games, it can know your future, whether you have done Easter eggs like a minute ago or 10 years ago, how many times you did that. It knows everything about you. It knows everything. But at the same time, it can be bugs and glitches, because let's be real, 3,000 devs, the game is still buggy as shit, bro. So
out of the map. Whereas in that second clip, there were multiple explosions going off before that enemy came around the corner. There was also a lot more gunfire going on in the background, and if you pay really close attention, there was a decoy grenade in this player's immediate vicinity making a bunch of noise. And it's especially worth noting, it was making a bunch of noise on the left channel of his speaker, which is the direction that the enemy came from.
But still, like, come on, man. Like, the Footstep audio should be the same, okay? Explosions or no explosions, so wrong.
So once you pay attention to all of these other variables that he didn't control for, it's now looking a whole lot more likely that the difference that we're hearing here between Footstep audio has more to do with the uncontrolled variables and all those additional sounds that we're hearing on the high skill accounts, rather than actual differences in the Footstep audio that you can hear. And this is a perfect example of why this can't really be used as proper evidence, because the testing just wasn't scientific at all. Instead, the better way...
But, I mean, damn, man, we really got to that level, ladies and gentlemen. It really got to that point in life that we gotta do these scientific studies on games as well. I mean, damn, man, can a brother perhaps like find if there's an alien life? Can somebody work for NASA? Like Call of Duty players, Call of Duty gamers, if we all came together as one, we could have found alien life. But man, finding skill-based matchmaking is more important. To
test this, and this is the test that I'm going to be sharing with you today, is taking a high skill account and a low skill account, putting them in the same lobby, having them stand in the exact same location, and then comparing the Footstep audio difference between the two, if there is any difference. This way, I'm properly controlling all the variables. It's an apples to apples comparison. And let's just start getting into it. I'm going to play a bunch of clips from a bunch of maps and a bunch of different situations. The first clip is going to be with my low skill bot account that I reverse boosted for this particular test. And then the second...
Ow! Teacher! I caught him! He's reverse boosting!
Clip for each comparison is going to be on my main account, which is a statistical outlier toward the higher skill part of the graph. I've got roughly a 2 kill death ratio, very good win-loss ratio, and solid score per minute all around. And let's just have a listen to these comparisons, pay really close attention to the Footstep audio, and see if you can tell any difference between the two.
But Nadia got 9 KD though, you know what I mean?
Bruh.
Low skill account. High skill. Okay, this is low skill. I'm gonna put the face cam right here. Low skill.
So there we go. There's a ton of different comparisons for you guys with apples to apples comparisons between these two accounts.
Nah, man,
I went through these over and
I'm not sold. Like, yeah, I see what he's doing, and he's just one man. But like a lot of people, if you read comments, okay, if you see what people are saying, a lot of people are saying that when I play, I hear no Footstep audio. Somebody's running, he's going like yalla habibi doing tag sprint. I hear no audio. I spent $1,000 on the headset. And then they see the kill cam and they hear loud elephant-sized footsteps. They hear all them elephant boom boom in the kill cam, but not in the game. I do agree on this though. There are a lot of bugs and glitches. Sometimes it can glitch out, but I mean, damn, bro, like there's so many people talking about the same thing. Either it's like placebo, but even placebo is not gonna hit like hundreds and thousands of people, right? Like I read so many comments that people are saying the same thing. I see his point, but let's see what else he got.
And over again, and I can't tell any difference between these two. I would have been able to hear those footsteps just as effectively, regardless of which one of these accounts I was playing on. So all of the evidence with proper testing points to no...
But my counter argument here is that, bro, if the algorithm in this game can know after you played 5 matches, if it can know, like, if your girl is preggo or not, it knows, like, you're about to do these testings, you know what I'm saying?
Skill-based footstep audio. Having said this, though, I do think there is something going on with the footsteps in this game. I think there's some inconsistency or apparent inconsistency with footstep audio, and I do feel like higher skilled players may experience this more often than lower skilled players. However, I don't feel this is due to some nefarious system that's put into place that actively adjusts that based on your skill level, and again, the evidence that I've collected supports that. Instead, I feel like there's a few different explanations that are a whole lot more reasonable here, and that would go along with the evidence we've seen so far.
Okay, I see why people were calling him out to be an Activision shill. Bumbleclad! If you appreciate, you're an Activision shill. If you question, you're toxic and problematic. There is no middle ground. We need to come together as one, ladies and gentlemen. XclusiveAce is not our enemy. You are not the enemy. We are all here for the same cause, man. We just want to have fun, bro. We just don't want to have crazy, thick-ass skill-based matchmaking in the game. I agree. We should have skill-based matchmaking in rank play. Okay, in rank play. Keep public. Don't make public the rank play, right? Especially when if you agree, but man, like, it's a little bit suspect. We got another controversy that he might be paid. Bruh.
The first thing, and this is kind of what we saw in those initial clips that I shared from that Reddit thread, in higher skilled lobbies, there tends to be a higher frequency of other audio going on around the map. So more explosions and gunfire and decoy grenades, and all of these sources can easily drown out footsteps as they should.
Wrong. In high skilled player lobbies, people just camp, don't even move.
Should. Of course, if there's explosions or gunfire in an adjacent room,
at least in my lobbies, you know,
you're not going to be hearing somebody's footsteps approach. So I think that's a very reasonable explanation. However, going off of that, another explanation could be that there is actually a technical issue here and some sort of a bug that also relates to the fact that we have a higher frequency.
Yeah, that I believe in as well. Like 3 years, 3,000 devs. We needed an extra year. They needed an extra 1,000 devs for sure, man.
Of these other audio sources. So perhaps there's something like a cap on the number of audio sources that can be played at any given time, and the game doesn't prioritize footsteps in this. So maybe it's literally not playing that footstep audio because the game is already handling too many other sources of audio around the map. I tried doing some testing with this in a custom game, but I couldn't seem to find any sort of audio cap. In either case, if this is actually a thing, obviously that's an issue that I hope they end up working on. But finally, another explanation for why higher skilled players may be hearing footsteps less often than lower skilled players is quite simply good players are more likely to be aware of the footstep sound that they're generating, and they adjust their gameplay accordingly.
Wrong. Pump the brakes. What?
Good players will also recognize that if it's a really quiet environment, maybe it's not the right time to make that push on an enemy that you know is in a building or on the other side of a wall, for instance, because you know they're going to hear you coming. I hold myself back from that all the time because I know they're just going to hear me and I'm going to lose that situation, so I approach it in a different way. Whereas in lower skilled lobbies, you tend to see people just sprinting aimlessly around the map because they don't really have that.
Okay, listen. You know what? If you're a good player, listen to me, okay? I know all of you will say, SKizzle, I'm the best player. No. Be honest. I'm an average player. I'm below average, personally. But that's why, thankfully, my lobbies aren't AIDS. I don't catch herpes all the time. Sometimes I do, but not all the time. But when I play with my friends, their lobbies are AIDS because they are actually better players than me. If you're a good player, drop a W. If you're a bad player, drop an L. Just be honest, man. Nobody's watching. Hey, nobody's watching. All right, like, why are you trying to prove to Nadia? She got 9 kitty, whatever. We all know how she got it, right? Like, you don't have to prove shit. But if you're a good player, if you have dropped W, I want to know your thoughts. Do you agree with what XclusiveAce is saying? 1 if yes, 2 if not.
Additional layer of awareness of not only their surroundings, but also the audio that they are generating for enemy players. In either case, those are just a few potential explanations for why higher skill players maybe don't hear footsteps as often as lower skill players, and I think all of these are much more likely and much more reasonable than a complex algorithm that's actively nerfing what you can hear in the game because you're a high skilled player. At the end of all of this, the main points I want to make are, first up, if there is a technical issue with the footstep audio, absolutely, I'm all for pushing for change when it comes to that. There should absolutely be some consistency, and if there is a technical issue with like a cap on how many audio sources are playing, 100%, please fix that. I really want to get that worked out.
But, ladies and gentlemen, she ended up getting bumbleclad. This is some of the craziest video ever. Click on this video on the screen, and I will see you right there. It's a must watch. She admitted.